Hello everyone. We are ahead of time, so let's wait for other participants to join. We have very less participants who have joined, so let us give a couple of minutes for them to join and then we get started. We have a few participants who are joining. As you all know, today we will be talking about the latest premium feature which has been released. There are two features which we would be covering in today's session. So just 2 more minutes, then we get started. So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining this session. I know you all were busy and you had made time to join us, and it was pleasure having you all. So let's get started with today's session. As you all aware, today we will be talking about the premium feature. There are two new premium feature which has been released, and we would like to talk about that feature and also demonstrate how this feature would be working. And if you are interested on this feature, please contact the relationship managers so that we can give you more details about this premium feature and the subscription details. Any queries on this demo or the webinar, request you to please use Q&A section. Share all your queries there. In intervals, we would pick up all the queries and we will help you answer them. And if you have any feedback or any concerns, also you can write on Q&A section. So let's get started with the premium feature, the webinar today. The two latest premium feature which we would want to cover is the issue allocation by auditor during execution and issue closure tagging. Now, what are these features which we have released? In most of the time, what happens is in all the audits, the auditee would be same, and there will be only dedicated auditee who would be working on all the issues which is coming from a branch or an operation or from an auditee point of view. But certain places there could be chances that one issue can be handled by, or one auditee you would have multiple responsible people to resolve the issue. But in that case also we have a respondent, auditee user and auditee reviewer who can manage this as a workflow. However, you would have in parallel, there will be multiple users playing the same role for the same auditee. In those cases, by allocating the issue would solve this, but allocate issue comes for an auditee who does this allocation, who decides to whom it has to be done. But the certain times what happens is only during the audit basis the observation coming in, there would be a possibility where an auditee, the responsible person to resolve this issue can be mapped, because an activity could have multiple associated tasks which would be done by different people basis the observation being observed, and issue should be allocated. So what we have introduced is we have introduced a module where a feature where an issue allocation can be done by an auditor during the audit execution. That means while an auditor is executing an audit, so in the cases of your file audits or you're doing some document related audits and all, while doing the audit, you found that there could be multiple users available. So whenever there is an issue which is or a non-compliance being observed, the concerned auditee who has to resolve this issue can be mapped to the respective checkpoint. So with the execution then, this issues will flow to the auditee for resolution post finalization of the audit. So this will help the auditor to map the issues directly, and all the mapping can be managed, and there will be no requirement for an auditee side or a reallocation to be done by the auditee. So which can help and can do a lot of allocation during the execution. If this model or a feature would suit where you have say multiple users for the same role, and would take up multiple tasks and associated tasks should be assigned, and this issue allocation, because it will happen during the execution, every issue has to get mapped. In such scenarios, only this feature would be useful. So let us see how the feature would work. So I'm switching over to the Audit 360. I'm switching over to the Audit 360 application to show you how this feature would work. I'm in Audit 360 application. Let me log in with the super admin role. Welcome to super admin role. So under the configure audit, we will be the configure audit. Let me just create one configure audit. How can we enable this? So in the configure audit, all your workflow related configuration is done in the configure one, but the auditor allocation will be chosen in the Audit admin configuration, because the issue allocation configuration is happening under audit admin configuration under configure audit. So we to go to audit admin configuration. In the audit admin, you can select for whichever audit type you would want this allocation to be changed. I'm just for now taking an existing one, show you how the allocation can be done. Second, just fetching the audit. Yeah, I'm taking. So here in the audit admin, if you have seen, there is a slight change which has been made. Earlier, we didn't have this to be allocated because all the allocation was done by the auditee or an auto allocation, which used to happen basis the master update we had done. So here in the screen audit admin configuration, we have added to be auditee count. So wherever you have a workflow of a respondent or a reviewer, you can enable these configuration. If not, both can be made as not required. Still, you would get the to be audited. If I show you this, if I make both the not required, you would find it would be an either auto allocation or an auditor. So this feature will give you flexibility if you would want to go with the auto allocation, or still if there is no respondent or reviewer between the auditee user only, if you would want to do auditor allocation, you can select this. So this is also made possible. Now let us take for a demo purpose as a respondent not required, reviewer is required, and to be allocated, we are selecting as by auditor. By selecting this, this means that the issue allocation at a non-compliance or an issue level will be coming up during the audit execution. So on selection of auditor, automatically system will update the below details, which is issue allocation will be for every time. Because the allocation happens during the execution, it has to happen at every schedule. So it will automatically fetch at every time. Then at the level of allocation, it will be at a checkpoint level, because at a checkpoint level issues, we are going to map this. And type of allocation will be at audit level, because schedules are created at an audit level. So by choosing the by auditor, all the relevant information, issue assignment and response to reply, everything gets updated automatically. So this configuration from audit type to audit type basis the need of an activity can be configured here. So once it is done, you can save. I'm just not saving it here because it's already a predefined one. This is how you configure in the audit administrator in the configure audit side. Now let us see how this execution would appear and how the issue allocation can be done. So I'm going to create one schedule. Selected test issue allocation, choosing the audit type, then I'm choosing the location here to fetch the auditee. I'm choosing my default auditee and the schedule details. Let me schedule an audit for today for the same day, and I'm selecting the auditor name here as and saving this. My schedule has got created. Let me show this to you. Yes, 40. There is a schedule which has been created. You could see this. Now I'm moving to the auditor role to show how this allocation can be done. This is a schedule which is already reflecting. I would just like to take a pause and share that if you have any queries, please do write to us in the Q&A section. I would be happy to take up these queries, and these queries answering live will help others as well to answer their questions which are in mind. So if you have any queries, please do write to us in the Q&A section. Now let us start executing the audit. I'm accepting the audit directly. Once I'm accepted, I'm going to start the audit. Because it's an allocation which is to be done at an auditor level, there'll be no express mode, only normal mode is allowed. So you select the normal mode, and here let us see that there is two checkpoints. So let us mark one of the checkpoint as partial because partial is a non-compliance. The moment you mark as partial, allocate issue button would start appearing. If it is yes, base it a positive conformity, it would not be there. Even if you click as any, you won't get this button. Moment you click as no, basis a positive conformity, allocate issue option would come. Now, and this allocate issue is mandatory for the non-compliance checkpoint. So even if you don't attend this, we'll give you an error message. So I'm making it as not available value here I've taken. When I try to give next, it says allocate the issue. So this is mandatory. So you have to select allocate issue. Here, if you see on the screen gives you the allocation of issue where we had opted for auditee user and auditee reviewer. Both the user role will be listed here. The list of user will be fetched here for those users who are mapped to the respective auditee, because we are doing the allocation for a respective schedule which has been scheduled for an auditee. We would map this user to the auditee level. Now, this is because it's our demo server. You would see a lot of data available here, so I may not go deeper here, but this model, the way it works is the list will be auto fetched based on the auditee mapping, and the data would be list would be shown here. So for example, let me take, I'm just trying to pull, I'm given one to the auditee user and choosing the auditee reviewer here, where I'm giving to one and I'm just saving this. So allocation is getting saved. Now you click on next. It will be moved to the next checkpoint. The checkpoint is completed. Now again, here I will try to do one non-complied issue. There's no disposition. Right click next. So there is no validation which comes up here. So I have one checkpoint. I'm taking partial. Let me give my value here to change my value to 25 and then drag my whatever number I need. Then I'm selecting a disposition. I can go allocate the user. User here, I'm saving this and I'm giving the input value. Once I am done, if I would want to give a recommendation, so all my checkpoints are completed. All issues, wherever you've identified an issue as an allocate issue, I'm just clicking on finish audit. Now my audit is completed. Let us look at the review of this audit. I have done the eliminate auditee sign off, so I'm not showing at the sign off side because there is no change over there. So I'm switching over to super admin, where I'm going to the review audit module. I'm selecting the same audit type which I just executed now. There is the one which is accepted. I click on this. So all I am selecting both the groups on the screen and I select all. There are two issues which we had checked. One was partial and one was no, another one was yes. Now when I go to the yes checkpoint, when I go inside, all the checkpoint information would be available, but you would not have the allocation part here. Now I'm going to this checkpoint where the issue is there. There seems to be some problem in the screen. So let me just reload and check this. I'm not able to load this. Basically, once there is any non-compliance, or you have all the option of changing as a review process, changing a compliance disposition, all that is possible. You can even look at the allocation being done. The change of allocation is also being possible in the review process. However, for example, from a non-compliance to compliance issue, there is the allocation would get removed. If you have a compliant checkpoint and from that you move it to the non-compliance, in that the reviewer should give the allocation of these checkpoints. Let me just see if I can show you the how does the screen look. Give me a minute. I'm just moving to the to show you the screen if I'm able to show in the screen. from a different checkpoint. Yeah, there is some challenge in the overlay screen. The overlay screen has a allocation screen where the change of allocation can be done by the auditor and by the reviewer, and in case of a non-compliance or compliance, the necessary changes will be applied here. So this is on the allocation side. Now let me show the issues which is being shown there. So respective issues, which once it is finalized, let us just quickly finalize, though we are not able to review it. I'm just quickly finalizing this to see if the allocation fluence is happening. There's an in review. I'm selecting both the groups. Select all. Margaret has reviewed. And then finalize. Finalization is done. So in the issue model, if you come, if you take the respective cluster and the auditor type, the newly audited will be shown here, which is of today's date. If I take schedule start from just 5th December to 5th December, two issues are reflecting here. These are the two issues which is already available in this issue module. So this is on auditor allocation side. Any questions on this feature? If you have any queries, please do write to us in the Q&A section. Now let's move to the next feature. I'm just switching over to the PPT side. The next feature was issue closure tagging. So normally what happens is during the any of the closure time, all the resolution would come, but certain times there would be some tagging to be given. So there are certain people would want to tag those closures into a different name. Sometimes the closures are being approved with an exceptional approval or with being considered this as an open risk or some other information that with the closure, though it is considered as closure, there are some tagging which is required to be provided. For all such requirement, this solution would be helpful where and superadmin at a configure audit can define what tagging it would need to be provided. So on during the closure of the issue, this tagging can be selected for a respective issue and those tagging will be reflected under the status for the execution. So these are the configuration which can be tagged as part of closed, and this will be applicable only when the resolution is being given by the auditee and the closure is happening. So this tagging can be considered here. So let us see in the application how this feature would appear like. I am again switching over to the Audit 360 application. Let me come to the configure audit, create a new audit type to show how a configuration can be done. So I'm taking today's just webinar December. Selecting an audit type as branch, then going next. Parent audit, these are your current ones. I'm just quickly taking over here. Adding one more group. I go next. Issue closure would be here as scorings that we give. I go next. Cancel. Here in the configure page, you have something called, do you would want to enable the issue mapping configuration? This, if you see this, do you want to enable issue mapping configuration for this audit? So we have clubbed this with the issue significance mapping so that because this also happens at a closure level, Along with the issue significance mapping, the issue closure tagging is enabled. The user can choose to have both or even one issue significance mapping alone can be done, or you can have issue closure tagging alone, or if you need both, that can be configured for ease of the demo. Now I'm only selecting issue closure tagging. On selection of issue closure tagging, there is a tab which appears where you can give unique taggings here so that it reflects during the issue closure as a drop down, and it helps the verifier to select these closures. So let me give some tags which as accepted risk. I would like to give as exceptional approval, then closed, solved. Or I may even take it as partially closed. These are my taggings which I would like to give. I can select this verifier. For ease of the demo purpose, I am eliminating the auditing sign off so that we don't go through all those I'm giving the due dates. Then I go next. Now I've configured issue closure. Let me just quickly finish the audit type configuration. I'm also just quickly finishing the audit admin because without that I can't do the execution. So let us quickly finish this. The audit type which we created was webinar 5th December. Unselected this. I've made it as not required, not required. Auto location, and I've given a save. Allocation is done. I'm moving to scheduling the audit. Let me go to auditor, do a self schedule, create schedule, select the audit type branch. Then I'm giving Srinagar. Today's date I'm applying here, and I'm saving this. Let me just quickly execute an audit to show how this mapping can be done. I'm choosing both as an issue. At it. I'm just quickly going to review audit. It is not saved. Going to super admin to check if this status is being changed. I'm coming to schedule module. Let me select the audit. We have chosen webinar 5 December. This is in progress, it shows. Let me just quickly come to auditor role to submit this audit. I'll show an existing tagging, how it could be done. Once then audit does the resolution, all the resolved ones will be reflected here. So I'm coming to the issue module. I'm selecting a cluster to which I'm showing a demo. Test auditor. Let me just do one resolution first. I'm switching over to the role of an auditing user. Switching over here. resolving the issue. The issue has been complied. Issues here. Resolving one issue from this lot. Giving us resolve. This is resolved. Now let us move to the super admin to see how this configuration happens. I'm selecting this and then selecting the audit type. I have one resolve and I click on this. You see there is a reopen and a close issue. The tagging for reopen issue would not be applied. On click of a close issue, the system would ask for a tagging. So let us just review the required information from this list. And once the review is being done, so we will click on close. When the close is appeared, it will ask, do you want to take final remarks? That's if you yes or no, you can. When I click no, it will take me to the placeholder where issue closure tagging is there. All the tagging what we would wanted to, what we have configured during the configure audit will be listed here, and user can select these issue closure tagging here and they can select whichever they would want to do. I'm considering this as the interim solution for now and I'm keeping as closed. Yes, no. So all the tagging will be shown on the screen. If you see here, all the tagging for whichever closed is there, because it's a mandatory tagging, the tags are done. It gets suffixed with the closure tagging here. The closure tagging is suffixed with the issue status of closed. It says closed, exceptional, closed, interim solution, closed, accepted risk. So this gives a tagging meaningful information, and the tagging is available at each closed issues, and it will be also used in all your. This can be seen in your basic reports or in your dashboards as well, and it would be helpful in presenting this information. So this is on the issue closure tagging. So any queries here on issue closure tagging? So we have covered two features today. One is auditor issue closure allocation during execution, and the other one is issue closure tagging. These were two features. So I want to know if there are any question, feedback or comments. If you have any questions, feedback, please do write to us in the Q&A section. And you're also, if you're interested to have any specific topic to be covered in webinar, you can always write to us or put it across to the reaches team. We will take up this request and take up some refresher trainings as well. Any queries or anything? Please note these are premium features. These are the latest premium feature which can be opted by a subscription. If you're interested in this feature, you request you to please reach out to your relationship manager who would give you more details about the subscription details, and request you to just have an assessment to see if this can be useful for your business case, and it would be used here seamlessly, and on subscription confirmation, the feature can be enabled to the respective domains or the server. Any questions, please do write to us in the Q&A section. We'll give 5 more minutes for any queries, any feedbacks also you can share with us, share your comments. think there are no queries. So I think we are good. Thank you all. Have a nice day. We'll meet soon in the upcoming webinar session. Thank you. Pleasure having you all.